Hey guys, Gamer of Gamers in the Zone, and welcome to another episode of Touhou 11 Subterranean Animism. Last episode I took a bit of a practice run on stage 5, so I have a bit more confidence going into this. So we'll see how this goes. I think to make things as less annoying as last episode, I think I might think about altering my rule to make it to where I'd say about if I die on like the first or maybe the second stage that I'll restart, because I would like to focus some more stages forward on like the later on parts, specifically getting up to like the final boss and stuff, so I could focus maybe a bit of practice time towards the bosses. So I'd say that's going to be one of my prime objectives this episode, is getting all the way up to stage 6, and then once I get to that point, I'll probably dedicate a bit of time in the episode, depending on how far I get, just towards simply, you know, figuring out some of the attacks on stage on stage 6, and maybe potentially get a bad ending if I'm good enough. If not, then we can go ahead and call it an episode, but mainly I'm only gonna restart if I like fail at the really early on stuff that I know I shouldn't be having a whole lot of trouble with. So for the sake of time, yeah, that's my plan. So only if I fail on the early on stuff would I see it necessary to restart. Because I think like the couple of the attacks on the second stage as well as on the third stage are actually pretty difficult, to where I would be okay if I messed up a little bit. I would only, on like some of the later on stuff like stage 3, would only think about restarting if I was like doing really bad, that I have no faith on getting very far. Because my main objective isn't really to win at this point, it's mainly to at least get past stage 5, so I can focus on getting some practice in on stage 6, because at this point, actually winning here is the only way I can get to stage 6, since I always, like, can never seem to get past stage 5. So depending on how this goes, will factor into whether I see it necessary to restart, or whether I choose to keep going. Oh, that was close. I'd also like to point out that I'm currently not exactly in the best mood right now, so I'm taking a bit of a risk here, because I spent a good chunk of the day today trying to set up a computer that's on Windows XP, trying to set up an emulator to play some classic arcade games, and like none of the emulators I found would work. It would either say that like, oh, it's for some like the error messages would be way too vague or something that I could never figure out. See, stuff like that I should be dodging just fine as an example, something that's like, if I'm messing up the stuff that I'm usually good at, like that's when I know that, like, I can't allow that to slide, because I should be able to dodge that just fine. Like, if I'm having trouble here, then I should just consider just calling it an episode early on, say that, you know, today maybe it wasn't the best day to record, with the day that I'm recording this. I'm mainly recording when I am because I have plans for the rest of this weekend, and it's like these weekends are kind of, at this point, my only times to record videos, and with the fact that I'm trying to, as much as possible, also focus my weekend towards, you know, catching up on certain things, such as doing stuff with some of my siblings. It gives me not a whole lot of time to really focus a lot on recording. And while I have plenty of recordings already, that I'm not too worried about this. I know that, you know, Touhou is a game that I really need to focus as much possible towards recording on, since I only, like, record one episode a week, specifically so I can focus on, you know, getting some informal tips from my fans before I go immediately looking like an idiot again on the next episode. So I like to form kind of a plan, and it sort of affects, you know, how often I'm able to record this, considering the fact that I'm focused on a bunch of other Let's Plays. Who knows, maybe this is one of those instances where I just am not going to get far for a long time until I focus a lot more on this game, because I feel like I'm in a position to where I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot of making forward progress on this unless I, like, finally am done with all my other Let's Plays and can start focusing a bit more on only Touhou, to the point that this just starts to become a Touhou channel, which I'm not entirely sure if I really want it to get to that point. We'll see how it goes. But right now, my main focus is trying to make some forward progress on this. And I don't know if my mood may have an impact on how well I do here. There's a lot of things that could factor into my concentration, and I really don't know what could be factoring into my concentration right now. For now, I just want to focus on doing well here. Oh my goodness, my finger slipped. Of course, the one thing I specifically made the whole exception thing so I could avoid this kind of stuff, and here I am once again having to reset over and over again. It just makes me feel like my skills are getting worse and worse at this game. When I think that, you know, experience would allow me to improve, it doesn't feel like I'm improving if I mess up at early on stuff, when I've shown in the past that I've gotten farther than this without any mess-ups. So I have to go through this stupid first stage every time. Like, I gladly do some stuff in practice mode, but it's like, these are supposed to be the first few stages. I shouldn't be having trouble on the first few stages. This should be simple. This should not be this hard. Alright. I better not mess up the 6 stages. I mean, at this point, I may have to move my rules down to it being okay if I get hit by anything in the 2nd stage, just so I can focus on making forward progress. Because at this point, I feel like I'm just getting hit by everything. And it's always when I least expect it. Alright, if that happens again, I'll just, you know, maybe have a bit of an exception that, you know, if I do make a slight mistake just once, that I'll let it slide, but, like, no more freebies after that. If I get hit a 2nd time on the same stage, that's when it's like, okay, now I really have no faith that I'll get past stage 5 and should restart. So I'm really getting the feeling right now like something's, like, if I'm doing this bad, then something must be affecting my concentration. And I don't know what it is. It could be because I'm frustrated with my failure to properly set up an emulator on a Windows XP. I'll have to see. I'm only... Because my time is very limited with recording since I can only record on weekends, so this is really the only time I can record this. I like, don't want... I'm not in the mood to record right now, but it's like... I kind of have no choice unless I end up wanting to not have an episode of this for this week. And this is just one of the things where it's like the real world's starting to kick in, because since my weekdays are taken up with me having a proper full-time temp job for the summer, it's like a lot of my time is being taken up by this. Okay, I should not be getting hit here, so if I'm getting hit here, I don't know how to improve my skills, if that is the case. Now, I should move fast enough that I stay out of this thing's way, but not too fast that I like run out of space for myself, because this stuff moves quickly. Okay. Make sure I get the extra life piece. And, looks like, see, this is what I mean. I've managed to make forward progress without getting hit at all. So, I have all the right to restart should I get hit by early on stuff that I've clearly shown right now that I can dodge without getting hit. Uh-oh. I don't know why I'm trapping myself like this. I am taking some big risks, and I get hit. I'm willing to let that one slide, since that was a bit of a mess up, but only if I don't get hit again. Only if I don't get hit again. If I get hit again, I'm not going to have the confidence that I'm going to get very far, and I'm going to believe that I'm not doing... I'm sorry, guys. This is not a good time for me to record. I'm sorry to make this a short episode, but I'm just not in the mood for this. I'm not as concentrated, and I just can't handle having to go through the same stuff over and over again just to have the best possible chance of doing well on the 5th stage. It's just too much for me right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, but this is all you're probably going to be getting for this week. This was a bad time for me to record. If I had editing skills or something, if I had an editor that I could use on my computer, I'd totally take the time to record again some other time. But time isn't on my side right now, and with the time that is on my hands, I just am not in the mood to record right now, so I'm going to have to say sorry for this episode and just call it an episode here, because I'm just not in the mood to do this right now. So this is the Gamer of Gamers. Sorry, but just, you guys stay excellent.